All right, hey, how's everyone going today? What we're doing today is we are solving systems. So what we have right here is a system of equations. You can tell because there's two equations right here. And the way we're going to be solving for these is using the substitution method. So in order to do substitution, you have to first solve either the first one or the second one with solve one of these so that one of them, either the first one or the second one, is either equal to x or equal to y. So I notice here immediately in the first one that my x is alone. So I'm going to solve for that one first. So we see x plus 3y equals 1. So we're going to solve for 3y, solve for x, so subtract 3y, and we get x equals negative 3y plus 1. Alright, so now that we have x, you want to go and you want to plug it into your second one. So when we plug it into our second one, we're going to have negative 3, but we know what x is. X is what we have right here. So we're going to put in negative 3y plus 1, and then minus 3y equals negative 15. Alright, here we want to distribute. So positive 9y minus 3, and then minus 3y equals negative 15. Combine my y, so I have 6y minus 3 equals negative 15. And now add 3 to both sides. So 6y equals negative 12. Divide by 6. That's gone. So now we know that y is going to be negative 2. Now I know what y is, so take y and plug it back into, and it doesn't really matter. You can plug it into your first or you can plug it into your second. So let's just go ahead and plug it into the first one. And so I'm going to have my next step is going to say x plus 3. Well, we know what y is. It's going to be negative 2 equals 1. So x minus 6 equals 1. Add 6, x equals 7. Okay. And always when you write your answer, you want to leave it as a coordinate. So 7, negative 2, ordered pair. There we go. So my x is 7 and my y is negative 2. Now if you ever want to go back and check, plug 7 in for x. So 7 plus 3 times negative 2. Negative 2 times 3, that's negative 6. 7 minus 6 is 1, so that one works. And then 7, negative 2, so this is negative 21 plus 6 in this case, which equals negative 15. So that one works. Let's jump to our next one. Negative 4x plus y, and negative 5x minus y. So immediately I look at this and I'm like, okay, what's the easiest variable to solve for? And I'm going to say in our first equation that the y is going to be the easiest one to solve for because that's already alone. So negative 4x plus y equals 6. So just add 4x to both sides and we get y equals 6 plus 4x. Now remember, go back and plug it in. So we're going to plug it into our second equation now. So negative 5x minus, well, we know what y is, so that's going to say 6 plus 4x, and that's going to be equal to 21. Remember to distribute your minus sign, so we get negative 5x minus 6 minus 4x equals 21, and just solve for x. Keep going down. So negative 5 minus 4, that's negative 9x minus 6 equals 21. Add 6 to both sides. Negative 9x equals 27. Divide by negative 9. Divide by negative 9. Boom, gone. And x equals negative 3. Now we know what x is, so go ahead, plug it into your second equation. Well, now that you know what x is, you can plug it into either or. So I'm going to plug it into the first one because I see that the y is already positive. There's not going to be a lot of extra steps there. But you could plug it into the second one too. So negative 4 times negative 3, because that's what x is, plus y equals 6. There we go. All right, so I get 12 plus y equals 6, subtract 12, and so y equals 6 minus 12, that's going to give me negative 6. And always go back and check. So my answer here would be negative 3 comma negative 6. And let's see, negative 3 and negative 6. So negative 3, that gives me a 12. 12 minus 6 is 6, okay? Negative 3 gives me 15. 15 minus a negative 6, that is addition, so 15 plus 6 is 21. Works. Let's try our next one. Alright, you should be starting to feel a little bit more comfortable with this one. If you're immediately looking at this one and just saying like, oh, my y is alone, let's solve for y in the second equation, go ahead and start. And then check us while we do it right here. So yes, my y is alone, so I'm going to have 5x plus y equals negative 13. Subtract 5x on both sides. So y equals negative 5x minus 13. And go ahead and plug it back into the one we haven't messed with. So 6x plus 6, well, we know what y is. That's negative 5x minus 13. That should equal negative 6. Distribute. So 6x minus 30x, let's see, minus 6 times 13, that's 26, 26 and a 13, that's 39, so 78. I think that's right. Let me just double check on the calculator that I have on hand. I'm pretty confident in that, but that was a lot of mental math, just to double check here. So 6 times negative 13, negative 78. Man, good thing I'm a math teacher. Alright, so 6 minus 30, that is going to give me a negative 24x minus 78, oops, forgot my negative 6, equals negative 6. Add 78 to both sides. Gone, negative 24x equals negative 6, so 78, 72. And there are 24 hours in a day. 3 days is 72 hours, so divide by negative 24, divide by negative 24. So x equals negative 3. We know what x is now. Go ahead and plug it into either one. My y is alone in the second one, so I'm going to work with that one just because I like things to be easy on me. So 5 times a negative 3 plus y equals negative 13. Negative 15 plus y equals negative 13. Add 15 to both sides. We get y equals 2. And remember how to write your answer. You're always going to write it as a coordinate, negative 3 comma 2. X, y. X and y. And remember, plug it back in. So negative 3, so that would be negative 15 here. Plus 2 equals negative 13. That's good. And then negative 3 times 6, that's negative 18. And then 6 times 2, so that's going to be plus 12. That's negative 6. That one also works. Perfect. Next. Start us off. All right. Nothing really easy to immediately notice. Neither my x or my y is perfectly alone. But I notice like all of these are 3s. So I'm going to work with this one. All right. So, it doesn't matter x or y. So I'm going to just solve for y in this one. 3x plus 3y equals negative 3. I don't know why I like solving for the y and then plugging in for x and finding x first. Maybe it's alphabetical order, but it's just preference. So subtract 3x. So we get 3y equals negative 3 minus 3x and divide by 3. This is why I decided to work with this one, because when you divide by 3 here, you get y equals negative 1 minus x, because those 3's, they're going to cancel out right there and there. Whoops. Okay. So we know what y is. Go ahead, plug it back into the first one. So negative 3x minus 4y. Oops, we know what y is. Minus 4 times negative 1 minus x equals 2. So negative 3x plus 4, because we're distributing, plus 4x equals 2. So x plus 4 equals 2 minus 4 minus 4. X, that's gone, equals negative 2. Now that I know what x is, go ahead, plug it into either one. Okay, so I'll just plug it into the first one. Negative 3 times negative 2 minus 4y equals 2, and solve for y. So 6 minus 4y equals 2. Subtract 6, subtract 6. Negative 4y equals negative 4. Divide by negative 4. Divide by negative 4. Then y equals a positive 1. My negatives cancel out. So my answer here would be negative 2 comma 1. Go ahead and check. And let's see, I got this one here. Go ahead, pause it, and check this one out. Looks like this one has lots of fractions. Nothing really simple to really find. So I guess it doesn't really matter. Let's just do... I will find, let's see, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by the toe. If he hollers, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Alright, let's solve for x in the second one. Okay, so 2x minus 7y equals negative 17. Add 7y, add 7y. So 2x equals 7y minus 17. Divide by 2. So x equals 7y minus 17 over 2. We know what x is. Let's plug it into the second one because we love fractions. Negative 5x minus 8y. Oops. Negative 5. We know what x is, which is going to be 7y minus 17 over 2 minus 8. Y equals 17. All right, let's see. Let's work with this. So we're just going to distribute into the numerator. So I have negative 35y minus 17 times 5. That's going to give me 85, so positive 85 since they're both negative, over 2 minus 8y equals 17. I'm going to switch this one up, so negative 35y plus 85 over 2. And I want to put the second one over 2 as well. So minus 16y over 2 equals 17. Alright, now I can combine like terms. So negative 35 minus 16. That's going to give us 51y plus 85, and they're both over 2, equals 17. Now multiply out by 2. You're going to get 34 equals 51y plus 85. Okay, hopefully it starts coming together now. 34 minus 85 on both sides. And we're going to get a negative 51. Perfect. 51y equals a negative 51. Divide by 51. Divide by 51. Y equals a negative 1. But we're not done. If you think you're done here, you're wrong. You found your y. Now you want to find your x. So go ahead, plug y in. So 2x minus 7. We know what y is. That's negative 1. Equals negative 17. So 2x plus 7 equals negative 17. whoops, getting ahead of myself. Subtract 7, you get 2x equals negative 24. And then divide by 2, x equals negative 12. So remember to always write it as a coordinate, negative 12, negative 1. Yeah, so sometimes the substitution is not just always going to work out perfectly, but you know, keep working through it, deal with the fractions, find common denominators, and figure out what you need to do. Alright, so when we're looking at this problem, I noticed that my y in the first one is almost alone. So what I want to do is I want to solve for y in the first one. So negative 2x minus y equals negative 9. We're going to add 2x to both sides. So we're going to have negative y equals 2x minus 9. Divide by a negative 1. So this flips all of my signs. And now I have y equals negative 2x plus 9. So y equals negative 2x plus 9. Let's go ahead and substitute it into your second part of the problem. So 5 times, not the x, 5x minus 2 times negative 2x plus 9 equals 18. So distribute, 5x plus 4x minus 18 equals 18. So we're going to get 9x, combining like terms, minus 18 equals 18. Add 18. That's gone, so we get 9x equals 36. Divide by 9. X equals 4. So now we know x. Go ahead, plug it in to either of them. So negative 2 times 4 minus y equals negative 9. So I get negative 8 minus y equals negative 9. So add 8 and add 8. So we get negative y equals negative 1. Divide by negative 1. Anything divided by itself is 1. So we know that our answer is going to be 4, 1. Go back and check. So 4 in for x and 1 in for y. So we get negative 8 minus 1. That's negative 9. Check. And we get 20 minus 2. That's 18. Check. So that was a lot of problems, I know. But if you need any help, if you need anything at all, just remember my name is Mr. Hernandez, and I'm always here to help.